It's interesting because you talk about when you in your book Goals that people need to almost do magic wand thinking when they're writing their goals. Yes. It sounds like what you're talking about there with a sort of an unbelievable vision. It sounds it's similar and linked to magic wand, isn't it?
Yes. What I do is this: I take out my magic wand. I always have my magic wand, and I'll do this with every audience. I'll say the key to success is what is called future orientation. That means top 10% of people think about the future most of the time. They think about the future most of the time, and they practice a concept used by top people called idealization. They idealize, they imagine they have no limitations, and they imagine you could wave a magic wand and make your future perfect in every way. Mm-hmm. So we say there's 4 areas. The first area is, of course, your income, your career, your work. If it was perfect, if you're earning the kind of money you wanted, doing what you wanted to do with the people you wanted to do it, what would it look like 5 years from now, and how would it be different from today? Mm-hmm. And the same thing we say is with your relationships and your family. If your family life and lifestyle was perfect, how would it be different from today? I just spoke to somebody who asked this question. He was really shocked because he found that he was working 12-hour days. He was seeing his kids once or twice a week. His wife was frustrated and irritated. He'd come home late at night and he'd watch television. And he realized, the reason I'm trying to be successful is so I can provide a good life for my family. And here I am ignoring my family. So he began to idealize and say, if my family life was perfect, what would it look like? He said, I would have dinner with my family every night. And so he changed his schedule. So he got his work done, and he would have dinner with his family every night. And then he would play with his children, and then he'd put them to bed, and then he would work later in the evening, and then go to bed at a reasonable time. He said, transformed his family life completely. And so, but if you don't think about these things, you'll just go on the same way forever, doing what you're doing. Yeah. Ask if your health was perfect, how would it be different? And finally, if your financial situation was perfect in every way, how would it be different from today? And then, what is the first thing you could do, the first step, right now, to make your future life perfect in every way? And whatever it is, just take the first step.
Yeah. Interesting. Because it sounds like there you've got the visualization of, like, the ideal future, which is a good thing for you to be doing for your subconscious anyway, but then also linking it down to what are we actually going to do next to deliver this. In terms of, you talk about in goals, you should write them all down. The key thing seems to be writing them all down.
Yes.
But in terms of goals, should you write them on, it's a very small practical point, but should you write them on pieces of paper, computers, media? Does it not matter necessarily where you write these goals down? Is there any thoughts on that?
Well, I teach a program, it's an advanced coaching and mentoring program to business owners. And I tell them that if you come and work with me for 1 year, I will show you how to double your income and double your time off within 12 months. And then what I do is I front-end load the first day of coaching so that they double their income within 30 days. Everybody does it. It's very simple. I hand them out a spiral notebook, like a school notebook, and I say, what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to write down 10 goals that you'd like to accomplish in the next 12 months. Write them in the present tense as though they are already a reality. Not I will earn, but I earn. And then at the end of it, write by and have a due date. I earn this amount by this date. I weigh this number of kilos or pounds by this date. I achieve this goal by this date. Now, when you write it down, you engage in what is called a psychoneuromotor activity, which is a 50-cent word, as we say. It's a big word. But what it means is that you see it when you're writing it, you sub-vocalize when you are speaking, you kinesthetically write it, and by doing the handwriting, you actually program it into the hard drive of your subconscious mind. And I've had people do this exercise once, and a year later, they found that list of goals, and they were astonished to find that 8 of the 10 goals had been achieved. I spoke to a gentleman recently, remarkable story. He said, after he had gone through my seminar, he heard me say, write down 101 goals that you want to accomplish in your lifetime. Well, he was about 24, he was struggling, he was poor, he had a used car, no money, unmarried, single, so on. So he went home that weekend, he got a spiral notebook, he wrote down 101 goals. Now 12 years later, I'm coming back to the same city, Atlanta, Georgia. And so he came to my seminar, and he said, I have to talk to you. He said, because 2 weeks ago, I was going through my papers, and I found that notebook. And I said, there's that notebook I wrote so many years ago. And he took it out, and he said, I wonder how I did. And so he began looking, and he took out a pen, And he began ticking off the 101 goals. So, yes, I achieved that. And I achieved that. And I achieved that. He said, Brian, and he started to cry. He started to shake. He said, Brian, I had achieved all 101 goals in 12 years. One of my goals was to marry a beautiful woman, which I did. To have children, which I do. To start my own business, which I did. To become a millionaire, which I am today. To own a new Mercedes, which I have. To put my children in private schools, which I did. To travel around the world, to learn a language, to sing a song, to learn to speak. He said it was unbelievable. He said, not 100, 101 goals had been achieved in 12 years. He said it was overwhelming to him. He could not believe it because I had told him, if you write them down, it's like programming them into your subconscious mind, where they then begin to work 24 hours a day while you're doing other things.
Great. So a spiral notebook and a pen.
Yes.
And some imagination and some discipline each morning. Talk about each morning. You say that you should you look at your goals then every single morning? I know that you say you're a big believer in going to bed early, waking up early, reading, nourishment for the brain, and then looking at the goals. Is that?
What I do is I rewrite my goals every morning.
Okay.
I carry a spiral notebook. I have stacks now over the years. And every morning I get up, when I do a little bit of reading, I exercise, and then I'll open my book and I'll write down the goals. Now here's the key. Do not refer to the previous day. What you do is you turn it over and you rewrite your goals again today. Now here's what will happen. When you first write down 10 goals, they will be the first things that occur to you. The next day, when you write them down without reference, you will change the order. You may actually drop off one or add something else. The wording will change in the goals, which is very important because your subconscious mind is activated by the precision of the words that you use. And so you'll find yourself writing the goals differently and in different order and sequence. And at a certain point, you'll find yourself every morning writing the same 10 goals, like that. And then, one by one, they'll start to be achieved and replaced by a new goal. And a year from now, it's almost like if you decided to exercise and lose weight a little bit each day, a year from now, you could be as fit as an Olympic athlete. A year from now, you will have accomplished so much, it will be astonishing to you. You know, and people say, well, it sounds really good, big American motivational speaker and so on. They say, but what if it doesn't work? I say, no, that's the wrong question. What if it does work? All it costs is a spiral notebook, a pen, and a few minutes a day, maybe 5 minutes. What if it could transform your life, as it has done for millions of other people, with no exceptions, in 56 countries where I've spoken? So if it works for everybody, everywhere in the world, it'll probably work for you. All it takes is 5 minutes a day. And it's really a test of how much you really want those goals, is do you have the discipline to rewrite them every day? If you will do that, that front loads the entire success process. You know, the very act of writing goals raises your self-esteem, it improves your self-image, it increases your self-confidence, and it activates your creative mind. You start to see all kinds of ideas and ways to achieve the goals that you've written. It's so powerful, it's literally life-changing, that one technique.
And should you, when you're with the spiral notebook in the morning, should they be the day's goals, week goals, year goals, or just the key ones?
Well, it's not a time planner.
No.
It's just, it is your goals for the foreseeable future.
Okay.
Now, when I say start off, write down 1-year goals. If you have more confidence, you can write down 5- and 10-year goals. But I have never written a goal that I didn't achieve. And I've gone from literally from rags to riches, from being broke to being worth an enormous amount of money. And it was exactly what I wrote down. the car, the home, the family, the business. Everything I wrote down eventually came true. And everybody I speak to says, it all comes true eventually. Yeah.